Okay, I think we can get started. So hi everybody, welcome to our awards ceremony for the Wekio Jupyter Notebook Competition. I'm Hayley King. I'm going to be your moderator today. I'm from EUMETSAT and I'm joined today by various colleagues who we will meet as we go through the session. But to start with, I'm going to hand over for start of our presentation, and then I'm going to hand over to my colleague Neil to say a few words of introduction about the competition. 1 second. Okay, Neil, the floor is yours. Please carry on.
Okay, thanks, Hayley. Yeah, I'm Neil Fletcher. I also work for EUMETSAT, and I've got 3 slides, and I just wanted to give a quick recap on the competition first. Really, the whole idea of the competition is we want to increase the availability and accessibility of Copernicus data for people. The Copernicus Earth observation data and services are freely available, and they cover oceans and the atmosphere and the land, and we want people to really have access and work with this data and to know how to work with it. So the idea for the competition really was to kind of put out a call to people and really get some ideas and get some notebooks in that would then help other people to work with Copernicus data and help them kind of start their journeys on working with this data. And what we've had so far from the competition entries, we're off to a really good start. So I'll just move on. Hayley, if we could go to the next slide. Before we go on to looking at the notebooks that have been submitted and talk about the winners, I just wanted to also thank everybody for submitting the notebooks. We can see there's been a huge amount of work on the notebooks, and there's some really impressive and imaginative ideas that have been developed in the notebooks. So thank you very much to everybody who submitted a notebook. Also, I want to say thanks to the Copernicus program for funding the competition and all the partners who've been involved. So as EUMETSAT, where I work, ECMWF, Mercator Ocean, and the European Environment Agency, and all these organizations operate the Wekio platform. And so if we go to the next slide, this is the final slide for me, just to give a quick reminder on the tracks for the competition. So we had 4 tracks. The first track was really to look at developing a notebook that would help people access Copernicus data. The second track was really to look at notebooks that would help visualize changes to our environments, that would kind of help people visualize data and they could learn from that. The third track was looking at AI and machine learning techniques and ways of working with Copernicus data. And the fourth track was really looking at kind of storytelling and bringing awareness of challenges on Earth. So those were the main tracks. And now I'm going to hand over to Hayley, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about how all the notebooks were judged. So over to you, Hayley.
Thanks, Neil. So we received a lot of different notebooks. It was really great to see all the contributions, and I'll add my thanks to Neil's for all your efforts towards this. It's been really great to see your ideas. So I was one of a panel of judges, some of whom will have joined us today, and you'll meet in a second, who were asked to then review the notebooks and judge them against these criteria along the different tracks. So we had 5 different criteria. The first one was the documentation and the style of the code. So we had to be able to understand what was going on. It had to be suitable in terms of explanation so that somebody else could understand what was going on with the code and what they needed to know about the data, etc. And this is, I think, a real strength of Jupyter Notebooks as a tool and why we've used them in this medium for the competition. The second criteria is about contribution to open science. So this was showing that you were using different tools that help people to understand the open science infrastructure, that you were using open data that was available through Copernicus and maybe through other programs. The third criteria, the level of creativity and originality. So this was seeing new things that maybe we hadn't seen before, that brought new skills, opportunities that other people could use, and that were original in terms of maybe the type of story they were telling, depending on the different tracks. This one could be interpreted slightly differently. The fourth criteria was the feasibility and veracity of the solution. So this was just to check that what was actually being done was scientifically valid, at least insofar as, these are not full scientific studies that we were looking for in the competition, but that we weren't doing anything that was not appropriate, using the wrong data for the right types of purpose, etc. And then the last one was track dependent criteria. So depending on which of the tracks you submitted to, then we had slightly different criteria to assess those notebooks. You know, for example, with the storytelling ones, there was more emphasis on really the narrative and whether this was compelling and interesting versus some of the others, which maybe were a little bit more technical, for example. So as I said, I was one of the judges. I'm Hayley, I work at EUMETSAT. I'm a marine applications expert in our user support division. So I was particularly keen to see those of you who'd worked on some of our marine data streams. But I'll also introduce you to our other judges now. So Fabrice, would you like to say hello?
Hi everyone, my name is Fabrice Messal. I work at Mercator Ocean International, the implementer of the Copernicus Marine Service. I was very pleased to be part of the jury. Jupyter notebooks are very powerful tools for us to tell story and show how the products of our services are useful. And I would like to congratulate to all the participants for the amazing job they provide.
Thanks, Fabrice. Chris is next in my list of panelists. So Chris, would you like to say hello?
Yes, so hello, my name is Chris Stewart. I don't know, can you see me, by the way? Yeah, okay, perfect. So I'm from the European Centre for Medium Range Weather Forecasts, where I'm the training coordinator, and I was very happy to be part of this competition. Saw some really amazing notebooks. And also just to echo what Fabrice was saying, yes, notebooks are a fantastic tool, you know, for storytelling, for education, also to promote open science. So it was really great to see your efforts, and they're very much appreciated. So yes, so thank you very much. And I'll pass back to Hayley.
Thanks, Chris. And lastly, I have Joanna. Joanna, would you like to say hello to our audience today?
Yes, hello. Thank you, Hayley. Hello, everyone. I am Joanna Przystawska from the European Environment Agency based in Copenhagen, and I work in the Copernicus team. And thank you all for amazing work. I was very happy to be part of this competition. We are very happy that this kind of tools like Jupyter notebooks can help us to enhance and boost the user uptake, so even more users can use Copernicus data.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joanna. Okay, so now we get to move on to the really, really exciting part, which is awarding the prizes. So if you remember from the adverts about the competition, the idea was that we would have a first, second and third place. And we will also be publishing the notebooks. This is not just the ones that win, but also the ones beyond. So this is not, if you haven't won a prize today, we will still be hoping to work with you to maybe improve some of the notebooks and publish them and promote them and give you some goodies to thank you for all your efforts. But let's move on to the prize giving. So in third place, we had a bit of a challenge because we had so many good notebooks that we actually decided in the end to split the third place in two. So the first of our third place winners is Luigi Salmi with a notebook on solar radiation. And to say a little bit more about why we picked this notebook, I'd like Chris to talk a bit about it, because this is one of the products that comes from where he works at ECMWF. Chris.
Yeah, so this was a very nice notebook, and the way it was presented was very clear, very good documentation, and I think it has an extremely good value for education because it really goes through the importance of solar radiation, the background, some very good graphics, and it very clearly shows how you can access some data from CAMS and how to plot this through Wikio. So, and it also has, some ways that you can visualize the data and extract some key values. So this was a very nice example. Also the right length and the right amount of effort dedicated to presentation as well as data and coding. So, this was a very nice, an extremely nice notebook. And I think it definitely deserves a prize. So thank you very much for that. That was definitely an excellent contribution.
Thanks very much, Chris. I don't know, do we have Luigi with us today? Luigi, if you are there, maybe you would like to say a few words. Otherwise, we'll get in touch with you. I'm sure you might see this recorded if you're working. Yona, do we know if Luigi's here? Ah, there you are. Great, fantastic.
Yeah,
Hi, please say a few words.
I'm in a conference in Rome, and there is some noise. I'm very glad. I'm very glad that my notebook has been appreciated. Yes, I don't have words, let's say. And yeah, it has been very nice this competition, because it makes you more willing to work on the notebook. But I agree totally that the Jupyter notebooks are really a fantastic tool to work on this data. There are also a lot of notebooks from the ESA that are very useful, and I'm going to work on them in the next months and even years, maybe. Thank you very much again.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, and we'll be in touch to sort out getting your prize. Okay, so let's move on to our third place winner. Oh, hang on, my presentation will work. This is for Giovanni Paolini and his notebook on the Gorner Glacier study. And for this one, I'd like to invite Fabrice to say a few words about why we selected it.
Yes, so it's a very interesting original topic, how to monitor glacier retreats and to estimate the glacier snow cover. The methodology was clear and the solution is easily replicable. This Jupyter notebook is perfectly aligned with track B to visualize changes on our environment. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Giovanni. Is Giovanni with us today?
Unfortunately, Haley, I don't think Giovanni is joining today. In case you are, maybe just write on the chat and I can unmute you. But I searched on the attendees list and I can't see him.
Okay. Otherwise, we'll be in touch with Giovanni to sort out the prize. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So moving on to our second place winner. Our second place winner is MD Ronnie Golder. So I don't know if Ronnie has joined us here today. I'll comment a little bit on this one because this is one of the ones that I was involved in judging with. One of the things we really liked about this notebook was it was very incredibly well described, both in terms of the technical side and the narrative behind the data and why it was interesting. So it was very complete in that sense. But I think the thing that we really liked the most about it was it went from using multiple bits and pieces of different data available through the Marine Service to this very sort of user-focused endpoint. You can see in the image there the idea of a hypoxia assessment. So taking the data and actually distilling it down into something that will be useful for decision makers. And we really appreciated that sort of end-to-end workflow with the user focus at the end. So Ronnie, congratulations on winning the second prize. Do we have Ronnie with us today? He's in another time zone, so maybe not.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Well, we'll be in touch with Ronnie to award the prize. Okay, so then all that remains is our first place winner, and it is my pleasure to announce that is Carlos Vivar Rios and team. So Fabrice, you also reviewed this one, so would you like to say a few words about the notebook?
Yeah, this one, amazing work on this one. The Jupyter notebook is about monitoring lake area, and it presented the case of Aquila lakes, which dried up entirely in 2019. The Jupyter notebook is replicable for many places affected by identical challenges. And the storytelling is a great example of this notebook is a great example to bring awareness to challenges on planet Earth. And the code will interest a lot of people. Congratulations.
Yes, congrats, Carlos. Do we have Carlos with us today? I think I saw you in the participants list.
Yes, I'm here. Well, thanks a lot for the recognition. And I would like to say that this work was done with two of my best colleagues, Colas Drawing and Diana Samberoli. I would like to really appreciate the effort that you are doing actually to promote the use of this data, and that you allow actually this data as an open resource to solve problems like the problems that we have right now in environments and other cases. So thanks again for the organization.
Well, thank you and congratulations. This was a really, really excellent notebook, both in terms of its technical capabilities and the storytelling element. I really, really liked it. So congratulations. Okay. So everybody will receive a certificate of participation, regardless of whether you're a prize winner or not. Prize winners will also receive a certificate for the prize winning and, of course, their prizes. And as I said before, we'll be in touch with all of you again to discuss what we do with the notebooks going forward, sharing them further and promoting the excellent work that you've done. And we want to make this competition better. This might not be the only time we do it. So in that regard, I'd invite you to scan the QR code that's there on your phone, or to go to slido.com and enter the code JN competition. And we just want to get some feedback from you about what you thought about this competition. So I'm just going to stop sharing my presentation and open up the Slido so that we can see what everybody was thinking about. Find the right one. Okay. So you should see a survey that opens for you. I can see somebody is already responding. So our first question, I believe, was what made you apply for this competition? So if you can go to the slido.com, enter JN competition, and click on the relevant multi-choice parameters, we can see why it was that you joined. I think you can select multiples of them. So, you know, it's okay to also love the data and coding. Let's see what you think. Let me just double check it's actually showing the responses. I think, yeah, here we go. Now we should have some responses coming in.
So I think how it will work is actually when we submit all our responses and then hit send.
Okay. I like watching these come in. It's really fun watching the bars change. It's a really nice tool if nobody's used Slido before. It's quite good fun. Okay, well, I'm glad to see that everybody loves Earth observation data. I think if we didn't, we probably wouldn't be doing any of the work that we're all doing right now, but that's great. And there's some keen coders too. Interesting to see that people have been working on these kind of tools already. Yeah, I don't know if anybody hadn't worked with Jupyter notebooks before, but it's quite nice to see that this is tools that people had a chance to interact with the program agencies. That's good. I think we're quite nice folks. So it's also always nice for us to meet people that are interested in working with our data. So this is definitely a pleasurable part of this. Prizes are good. Who doesn't like prizes? Fantastic. Maybe not so much chance to meet and work with others. This is a bit of a limitation of doing online competitions. We had the Slack, but I think there are other formats for these kind of events and things that maybe we could look at to allow you all to maybe interact more with each other to come up with topics to work on. Okay, you can keep answering, but I'll move to the next one. So what did you enjoy about the Wekio Jupyter Notebook competition? This one is a free text answer, so you can just type in what you enjoyed. We've already heard from the judges that we enjoyed various different things about this, but particularly finding the different ideas. I like that people found the tracks interesting. That was good. We tried to come up with things that weren't maybe very traditional, as in weren't, we want to hear a notebook about the ocean, about the atmosphere, about climate, but something that was more creative, that would inspire people to use the data in different ways. But if you have ideas for tracks, we'd also be quite keen to hear, what sort of different topics you think we could have applied for this. And yeah, the possibility to bring data to a real problem. I think Joanna said this quite well earlier, it's one of the main things for Copernicus is to have data that is not just something that's scientifically interesting, but is really, really valuable on a direct sort of benefit to society and the planet basis. So yeah, possibility to share. I love open source. So I think, Python, Jupyter, all of this is great. And we will be sharing the notebooks afterwards. So I hope this is something, what you've done here in this part of this conference will have this competition will have a bit more of a longevity to it and some legacy. So hopefully people will continue to use notebooks in years to come. Procedure was good. Applying AI to EO. Yeah, this is something that's growing all the time. So I think we probably could have had an entire competition on this. If you haven't checked out our MOOC on that, you probably should. It's quite good. Quite a lot of applications for AI and EO there. And it was well organized. Well, I must say thank you to Iona and the team behind the competition for that. Learning more about Jupyter. Yeah, I think you can definitely learn more when you try and apply it to different topics. So fantastic. Lots and lots of things. Diverse data. I hope people have learned more about the Copernicus portfolio through this as well. Maybe it's given you some inspiration to explore it a bit more. Okay, next question. How can we help you access the Copernicus data in future? What kind of resources would be most useful? Okay, more webinars. We can definitely do that. In fact, there will be some coming up. I'm sure you'll hear from us at Workio soon about those. I know Fabrice has been coming up with ideas for new Workio webinars behind the scenes that will show you more how to use the data. Independent APIs. Maybe you can drop us an email about what you mean, more detail on this one. I'd be interested to hear some feedback about the APIs. High resolution data, growing all the time, I think. We're always looking at what things we can bring in to the Workio ecosphere through Copernicus. So if you have particular suggestions, we'd love to know. Guidance on how to use the different data formats. Yeah, so we do have a lot of this information, but I'd admit that it's probably maybe in places that you don't know where it is. If you contact our help desk always about the data, we can always give you advice. It's something I do, providing detail, for example, on different data formats for Sentinel-3 as part of my role as a user support person for Workio. But we do also have materials and a growing range of notebooks. So keep an eye actually on our website this week. We're releasing a whole bunch of new notebooks from our teams that will give you more guidance on the data itself. So you can see those. MOOC was helpful, more like this, GPU availability on Workio or the DS. We do have some GPU availability, so you can always talk to us about that. What else have we got here? High resolution data. High resolution data can always be high resolution, I think, right? You might be interested in the next generation of Sentinels as that comes up. There'll be news on that soon, I think, as well. Yeah, make the Jupyter notebook standard. Not all functions were there in the Workio version. Yeah, this is a bit of a challenge. It's something we'll have to look at with integrating the notebooks that you've all produced into the catalog that we're providing through Workio. As you know, the Python sphere of libraries and everything is very, very big. So we have to always decide what are we going to put as standard on the Workio Jupyter Hub. What would be imported. So we're going to think about this a bit. We'll look at the different libraries you've used, come up with maybe an advanced set that we can make and roll out across our standard Jupyter Hub distribution. Otherwise, we can maybe come up with some more standardized ways of providing guidance on environment creation and things like that. But this is great feedback. Thank you very much. How important are such competitions for your skills development on a scale of 1 to 5? Great. So quite a few of you think this is beneficial. I hope so. I think I know quite a few of you are either junior researchers or students and things. So I think, taking part in this is a great way to get your work and your skills acknowledged and out there. And I would encourage you to, if you've been awarded or when you've participated in the competition to say such when you have career development opportunities. And hopefully we can do more in future with webinars and things to build on these. If we organise another Jupyter Notebook competition in future, would you like to join? Most of you, yes. Great. Nobody said no. It's always a maybe. I think people are busy, but that's good to see. I'm glad that everybody enjoyed it enough to want to contribute again. Are there other events we could organise that you would like to participate in? So yeah, definitely related to Copernicus. Okay, I can say that's definitely going to happen. There's going to be more Workio related events, and all of us as part of the interested entities under Copernicus will be arranging different events in the future. So keep an eye on our relevant websites, Workio and others, to see what's going on. Yep, somebody already attended the training session. Great. We love when you attend the training sessions. And if you have used what we've done in the training sessions, we'd love to hear back from you. We can always come up with then more advanced training sessions if you still have needs from those. Hackathons, yeah, I think we've been involved in hackathons as partners before, but this is something to think about. I know Fabrice has got some hackathons on the horizon. I know ECMWF also does too. We've had some in the past in EUMETSAT as well. But maybe a Workio specific one would be very fun with all the 4 partners. Maybe a pure AI challenge. I think that's definitely on the horizon. AI is becoming more and more important in EO data all the time, it seems. Series of workshops. Yeah, I think maybe workshops where we explore together some, more like sort of small coding sprints and things like that around certain topics could be quite fun. Less training and more kind of co-working could be quite good to solve some of the challenges that come up around EO data and specific topics. Yes, you were at ECMWF one in June. It was great. Yeah, they've organised some great stuff, especially under the Summer of Weather Code, which Workio has also partnered with in recent years. So keep an eye out for that one. That's a great one to contribute to. And if anybody else wants to make any comments, Chris, Fabrice, Joanna, Neil, on any of these events and ideas, because you're all involved in events organisation, so.
Yeah, I would just say, keep your eye out for future events and future activities, because for sure there'll be lots of activities coming up. And yeah, some people mentioned also it'd be good to have another MOOC. So indeed, following that great example of the one led by EUMETSAT, there's also going to be one that we're going to do, which is focused more on machine learning for weather and climate. That's coming up in January. And of course, there'll be another ECMWF Summer of Weather Code next year, and many other events. So keep your eye out, and keep your enthusiasm for working with Copernicus data. Keep your enthusiasm for working with Wikio. So please, use it, and just keep your eye out for future activities. And it'd be great to see you again.
Neil, would you like to say something as well?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we just to let people know as well, we've got a Copernicus Earth observation data visualization workshop that we're planning for March, April next year. So if you're interested in learning about how other people are accessing Copernicus data and visualizing it and telling stories with Copernicus data, then keep an eye on our website, and that will the workshop will be end of March, April time.
Fantastic. And Fabrice, anything from your side you want to add?
You already talked about the possibility of the Wikio hackathon next year. So stay tuned for the next Copernicus events.
And Joanna, anything to add?
Yes, same goes for the EA. We regularly organize different webinars, how to access our data, and there are new products upcoming. So stay tuned on our land portal. There's some information about webinars and workshops there. And yeah, keep up the good work.
Okay, then I think we can stop that. The Slido is open, so if I've missed something you've commented later, we've already skipped past it, don't worry, we'll see that feedback. So, and if you come up with something, over the next day or so, I'll leave it open so that you can add as well. But I'll stop to share that now and just reshare my other screen. Okay, so the last thing that remains was just if there were any other further questions you had, you can put them in chat or actually I think we have a Q&A box and we can answer them for you. If there's anything outstanding, you have questions about what happens now, about using notebooks, about continuing to collaborate with us, anything at all, then we're very happy to answer your questions. So please pop any questions in the box. We had one that was answered, just so you can all see. Yes, Fiona answered that one already, that you'll get your certificate hopefully by the end of this month. We'll be in contact about those of you for the prizes as well. Yeah, some other questions. Will this competition be held in the next year? Maybe. I mean, we've had a very good uptake, it seems. So I think, it's looking good that we'll certainly consider it. Neil, do you want to comment on that, since it was your lead on this one, really?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we should definitely consider running something like this, or maybe we put a focus on AI or on different themed areas. I think we need to talk about it, definitely.
Okay, fantastic. So I don't see any, hang on, the next issue. Yeah. Would it be possible to have free access to GPUs using the Wikio Jupyter Hub platform? This is possible, I believe, because I think we've done it before with the ECMWF Summer of Weather Code and with the MOOC in part. So we could talk about this for sure. If this is something you think would open up much more possibility, yeah, I think we have Joanna on the line as well. Other Joanna, not Joanna from EA, but Joanna from EUMETSAT. So Joanna, maybe this is a bit of feedback for you, something we can look at to facilitate for some of these competitions going forward. Okay, then I don't think I see any more questions. So yeah, all that remains for me to say is congratulations again to all the participants. Thank you very much, all of you who contributed to the competition, who attended all the webinars and who submitted notebooks. And we look forward to continuing to collaborate with you during the aftermath of this event to get your notebooks shared more publicly and in future at similar events. So thank you very much. Anybody else from the panel want to say anything else before we close?
I guess just a thank you from my side as well. It was, it was a fantastic opportunity also for me just to see, your creativity and your enthusiasm. And yeah, so thank you very much from my side.
Thank you for the participation. Amazing work, and we are happy to be part of this competition. Also boost this user uptake, not only for experts but non-experts too. So thanks all.
Yeah, thank you for your participation, and I hope to see you again for the next one.
Okay, Neil, anything from you?
Yeah, a big thanks to everyone who submitted a notebook. There's some really really good examples, and it's quite inspiring, all the work that people have put in and the enthusiasm. So a big thanks to everybody.
Wonderful. Okay, well, a final thanks to all of the participants, and a special thanks as well to everybody behind the scenes. You see EUMETSAT today who was here helping us organize it, but lots of people have behind the scenes helped make this happen. So thank you to everybody who participated, everybody who helped organize this, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thank you very much.